All right, let's talk about something every homeowner secretly fears. That moment your HVAC system just gives up. This isn't just about being a little too hot or too cold. Nope, this is your survival guide for when that critical piece of machinery decides to call it quits. So let's dive right in.
Okay, just picture this. It's the absolute coldest night of the year, right? The wind is howling, temperatures are plummeting, and then silence. The furnace dies. That feeling? Yeah, it's pure panic. So what in the world are you supposed to do when your home's armor against the cold just shatters? Now, it's easy to blame the machine itself, but hold on. The real villain in this story is actually the weather outside. Seriously, your HVAC system is basically in a 24/7, 365-day-a-year boxing match with Mother Nature, and that constant fight, well, that's what wears it down.
Just think about the beating your system takes all year long. You've got these brutal, humid summers where the AC is just screaming for mercy, working overtime, then, bam, winter hits, and the furnace is cycling on and off, constantly. And let's not forget about things like river moisture. It's like a silent assassin just creeping in, causing rust and corrosion. This isn't one bad day. It's a long, slow war.
All right, so the system finally taps out. What actually went wrong? Let's put on our detective hats for a second and figure out who the usual suspects are when an HVAC system fails.
A really big one, especially in the summer, is condenser failure. Remember all that humidity we were just talking about? Well, it goes to war with the metal coils and all the electrical bits in your outdoor AC unit. It causes rust, which leads to leaks, which eventually leads to a total shutdown. It's basically a slow death by 1,000 tiny drops of water.
Okay, now this next one is really serious. A cracked heat exchanger. In older furnaces, we're talking 15 years plus, all that heating up and cooling down, expanding and contracting, it can actually cause tiny cracks. And this is a huge deal, because it's not just about your house being cold. This is about the risk of carbon monoxide leaking into your home. That's a major safety hazard and something you have to deal with immediately.
And, the list of potential problems just keeps on going. You could have a slow refrigerant leak that just drains your cooling power over time. Or maybe your old ductwork is basically choking the system, not letting air flow properly. Or it could be something as small as a failed capacitor, which means the whole unit just won't even start. Any one of these can stop your system dead in its tracks.
So, this is it, the climax of the whole drama. The technician has figured out the problem, and now you're at a crossroads. You have to make the big and, usually expensive decision. Do you try to patch up your old, tired unit one more time, or is it finally time to replace the whole thing? And man, this is the question that can cost you thousands if you make the wrong call. Pouring good money after bad into a system that's on its last legs, it's such a classic homeowner trap. So how do you know? How do you know when it's time to just let it go? Well, luckily, there's a really fantastic rule of thumb that can help you out. It's called the $5,000 rule. It's a super simple formula that helps take all the emotion out of it and just gives you a straight-up, numbers-based answer. Let's break down how it works. So let's try a quick example. Let's say your system is 12 years old and you've got a repair bill for $1,200 staring you in the face. A good way to apply the rule is to multiply the age by 100. So 12 times 100 is 1,200. Then you add the repair cost, another 1,200. That gives you a total of 2,400. See, that's way under 5,000, so a repair probably makes sense. But what if that repair was, say, $4,000? Well, now you've got 1,200 plus 4,000, that's 5,200. And just like that, you're over the line. Replacement suddenly looks like the much smarter long-term bet. See how easy that is?
And trust me, one single big repair can push you over that number fast. Take a failed compressor, for example. That's basically the heart of your AC unit. Replacing one can cost anywhere from $1,200 to over $2,800. For an older system, a bill like that pretty much guarantees you're going to blow past that $5,000 mark. It makes a decision to replace a total no-brainer.
All right, decision made. Now it's time to call in the cavalry. So what should you expect? Let's talk about what a good, honest, stress-free service call actually looks like.
Look, a good service call shouldn't be a mystery. It should be super straightforward. You call them up, tell them what's wrong, the technician shows up, figures out the problem, and this is key, gives you a price before they do any work. Then, after it's done, they test everything to make sure it's actually fixed. Simple. No surprises, no getting the runaround.
And here's the thing about a really great company. They'll give you options, but they won't pressure you. Their job is to solve your problem, not to upsell you on stuff you don't even need.
That honest, upfront pricing? That's how you know you're dealing with someone you can trust. So, you survived the crisis. Phew! But you know what the real victory is? Making sure this never, ever happens again. So let's switch gears from freaking out to being proactive. Let's talk about how you can take control and become the boss of your own HVAC system.
I mean, just look at the difference here. Being proactive with maintenance means it's scheduled, it's cheaper, and it makes your system last longer. On the other hand, waiting for an emergency repair means it's stressful, it's expensive, and you're often just putting a Band-Aid on a bigger problem. It's literally the choice between being in control and living in chaos.
So you might be wondering, what actually happens during a tune-up? Well, a tech comes out and cleans all the important coils. They check your refrigerant levels, and they test all the little electrical parts that love to fail at the worst possible time. And crucially, they inspect that heat exchanger for any cracks. They can catch that super dangerous problem before it even becomes a crisis. Think of it like a complete physical for your HVAC system.
And honestly, staying on top of this stuff is pretty simple. Change your air filter every month. That's a huge one. Schedule an AC tune-up in the spring, before it gets hot. Schedule a furnace tune-up in the fall, before it gets cold. And once your system starts creeping up on that 15-year mark, yeah, it's time to start saving and planning for a new one. This little timeline right here could save you thousands of dollars and a ton of headaches.
So that really brings us to the final question, doesn't it? You have a choice. Are you going to get ahead of the game and make sure your system is ready for the next seasonal battle? Or are you just going to wait for that cold, quiet night to find out it's already too late? The ball's in your court.